Everyone, it's Brett FX here, and we got ourselves another commentary going to be coming to you with some Battlefield 1 gameplay in the background. Probably going to be some medic gameplay. It is my favorite class so far within the alpha. Um, Not really, I don't know, the other classes just seem, I've always gravitated towards the medic class, but other than that, the other classes just, they just don't really float my boat. Other than maybe the sniper class. Sniper class is really fun with the Russian lever action with no scope on it. Oh god, that is a really fun rifle. So this video is going to be kind of talking about the game, the game itself, what my thoughts on it so far, and just how I kind of see maybe competitive panning out, or just my thoughts on competitive in general for this particular game. This may change in beta. Beta is going to be coming out before the game, assuming. It would be really bad if it came out after. But will possibly change depending on what we see changes being made from alpha to beta, and then of course it may change from beta to actual launch. But these are just some thoughts that I've had so far. So first off, let's go into the base game mode. So this is something I'm really excited about. One of the issues that we've had in the past is that we've had to really ban out a lot of stuff in the base game mode, whether it be conquest or small obliteration or domination, whatever it may be, whatever competitive mode we had to play, we always had to ban quite a bit, whether it be weapons, gadgets, even map settings like 3D spotting, healing. So just a few things that they have either changed or implemented within this particular game here is what really excites me. It's like the limited 3D spotting. That's something that I'm really excited about. I think limited 3D spotting is something that we've really needed for a long time. It got really crazy with Battlefield 3 and 4. I mean, come on, guys. It was pretty ridiculous at times. I mean, seeing all those floating triangles everywhere, especially in a competitive game. I know the Europeans, not knocking the Europeans, but I know they like their 3D spotting. But now that it's toned down, that's something really, in my opinion, we shouldn't even have to touch. So that's definitely a good thing. No crazy gadgets so far. We haven't seen anything just really wacky or game breaking, in my opinion. Gadget wise, everything seems to be pretty balanced at the moment. I haven't really been seeing anything like the Mav floating around, killing people as it's running around, as well as spotting out the entire map, or tugs being thrown down and you seeing everything spotted out, or the oh god, what was well, maybe the trip mines would be banned out. But I mean, honestly, the support class is just so bad that I really can't see people going for the support class just for the trip mines. Hey, I may be wrong, but I really don't see that as a option for a competitive match. So I think that the fact that there's no gadgets, crazy gadgets so far, is definitely a good thing. And again, less to ban. Classes feel pretty good at the moment. I think we haven't really seen too many weapons just really stand out. Some would say that probably the SMG, one of the SMGs, I think is the last one that you could actually choose, is a bit overpowered just because you die really fast if you can get all bullets really in close, which I think that's kind of what the SMG is going to be there for. So that really doesn't bother me. I've been able to actually outclass some of the SMGs just by staying away, simply not getting in close on those particular flags as a medic with my DMR. I'm not saying that's going to be the case every single time, but I think that the maps are, for the most part, laid out from what we've seen decently to where you can kind of keep your distance for the most part. Nothing, like I said, nothing really feels OP at the moment except for maybe vehicles, maybe tanks, but I think that's going to change. I don't know, I just feel like something's going to change. Something's going to come into the game, or something's going to change that will kind of help out that little aspect of it. Tanks right now feel incredibly boring. Like if we were going to talk about it from a 10v10 standpoint, they do feel really boring. Just because if they try and roll up onto a flag, it's very easy to get a disable, and then once you get a disable, I mean, the guy's pretty much just screwed, right? I mean, unless he's got somebody in his tank and they're able to really coordinate well and fend off every single infantry player that's going to be throwing nades at him, it's going to be almost impossible for them to make it out of there. So I don't really see tanks being too awfully aggressive. Maybe the light tank can. But the other ones, I don't know. It's going to be pretty difficult unless they just have a full-blown team going with them. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the possible lack of modes for fives. So this is concerning, and I think I may have touched on this a little bit earlier in the beginning of the video. I may not. But right now, 5v5 is going to be, in my opinion, very stale. We're going to be seeing Domination coming back. That has been confirmed. There is another mode that is an objective-oriented mode. We have that's really all that I've been told, and that's probably more than what you guys have been told about it. But I have heard rumors that that's going to be a decent mode for 5v5s. Honestly, I just don't see that happening. Probably maps are going to be too big, or just the objective in general is probably not going to make too much sense. So, really concerned about 5v5s, unless we see maybe Conquest being scaled down and bring back some 5v5 Conquest. Don't really see 5s being that great of a game mode. I know a lot of you guys who are Domination fans from Battlefield 4 are going to be rejoicing right now because Dom pretty much feels the same. Even with the change in the scoring, Domination pretty much feels exactly the same. So, my question to you guys is, would you be willing to maybe switch over to a 10v10 8v8 setup? I know a lot of you guys who were primarily just 5v5 competitive players. Some of you switched over to 8s and 10s after ESL 1 finished. Some of you did not. Some of you just quit out completely. And I know some of you guys, when Squad Obliteration came around, you guys pretty much just stopped playing 5s altogether and went elsewhere. It just wasn't your game. So I'm kind of curious, how many of you guys would actually be willing to switch over to a 10s or 8s setting and play Conquest, or whatever the game mode may be? I don't even know if Conquest is going to be the 8v8 10v10 game mode. I would assume it is. Next, we're going to talk about scoring. So this is a pretty concerning factor right now for me. I've actually been trying to give it a little bit of thought. I was doing some just running some theories in my head about how we would run some scoring. And then when I really started thinking about how the scoring system works, I was thinking, man, this is going to make for some pretty dull gameplay. And I'll explain right here. Right now, the ticket system, it goes up. And it's not even technically a tickets. They're just points. So they go up instead of down. And they go up, every flag is basically a point. Now, there is some sort of, there's an algorithm for it, where every, so many seconds go by, you get a point for that particular flag. But I'm just going to go with a generality here. So basically, if you have one flag, you get 1 point 1 second. If you have 2 flags, you get 2 flags 1 second. So on and so forth. But the thing is that if you have a flag and it's just one, you still get a point. Which brings me to my concern here, which is if you have a winning team who has, for whatever reason, gotten out ahead of 30, 40 tickets maybe. And even if the losing team managed to get a, superior number of flags, they could still lose the match quite simply because, they're going to be, the other team's going to be getting tickets. So let's just say if it's a 5 flag map and it goes down to a 3-2 setup with the losing team with the advantage, they're really only getting 1 point extra than the opposing team. So if the opposing team was able to get like a 4 cap, you see where I'm going with this? I can see this snowballing and getting out of hand for a losing team unless they're able to keep it very, very close all the time. And that's one of the things that I loved about Conquest. There was always a comeback. There was always the ability to get that all cap, to get that squad wipe, to bomb the tank in the backfield, get a double gimme, and being able to bring back a 40, 50, sometimes even a 100 ticket deficit. And I don't really see that being the case here for Battlefield 1. In fact, I think for Battlefield 1 it's going to be very boring and very predictable as to who's going to win within the first 2 to 3 minutes of the game, which does concern me. I don't think that the blimp is enough, and honestly, I don't think that the behemoths or the blimp, we know it's going to be a blimp and a battleship, are really going to be much help at all, and they're not even really going to be allowed in competitive. I can't see them being allowed in competitive. I just don't see how that scoring system is going to work. The other thing about the scoring system that I didn't mention is the fact that if you die and respawn, it does not take away a ticket, obviously, because the tickets go up. And it doesn't give the other team a point. So kills basically mean nothing except for your own personal score. Now some of you guys may be thinking, hey, that's great, because basically now we can worry about just getting on the objective and not really about our tickets anymore. But the thing is that that's always been one of the key points about competitive, is watching that ticket count, watching your respawns, and making the other team do the same. If the other team is able to go wild and just throw as many bodies at that flag as they possibly can, you may kill them 30 times, and it will have no impact on the score whatsoever. Whereas in the Classic Conquest, if you kill them 30 times, it will show up in the ticket score, and they will drastically reduce either a lead that they may have had in order to get those flag cats back, or it will even further your lead that much more. And I think, again, this is one of the really special things about Conquest that I'm really going to miss in this current game mode, in this current scoring system. Next, talking about a little bit about some general points. So these are just kind of some thoughts that I had jotted down, no real direction to them at all. We do see some stuff like flag spawn points feel really weird at times. Flag caps I do like. There is going to be some positive moments to this. So I do like the flag cap times. I think that they are really, really good for allowing teams to come back to try and either recap or defend the flag. They are not so close that you basically can get just a free defend. You have to work for it. And it does give, like I said, both teams, I think, a fair chance at a particular flag. We do have the Behemoths, which, I don't know. I'm not really liking the Behemoths too much. I don't really think that they're too good in public play. I think that they're kind of just a ploy to try and fix the really bad system that they have right now with the losing team losing so much. And I haven't really seen a losing team coming back maybe once or twice, to be honest. The Behemoth really doesn't do a whole lot. It doesn't get you on those flags. And again, it's just really a system to get kills, but kills mean absolutely nothing in this game mode. So there's really no reason for Behemoths to be a comeback system. As of right now, it's just there to pad people's KDs. Grenades feel pretty spammy. I will have to admit, especially the gas grenades and the incendiaries. I really, really hope that they tone those two down, and they do go through walls. So unfortunately, if you remember the Hardline game, but we had the issue with grenades as well as with Molotovs, just basically shooting in through walls or flooding in through walls. And it's the same way with this one. It's not as bad. There are some buildings where it doesn't happen, like if you're in the towers and you throw a gas grenade inside, it doesn't really eke out too much, but everywhere else it seems to do, especially in the destructible buildings, which is incredibly annoying because again, they are going to be very, very spammy. I can definitely see in a 10v10 or 5v5 them being banned out, just because you could have 3 guys running gas, clear out a flag completely, and run on in there, and I mean, it's disorientating, and it's overall just not fun to have to play against. Trip mines are definitely annoying. They're a little bit too frequent, I think. I think they need to slow down the amount of time that it takes in order to set them out. And you shouldn't get 2. Support class should only get 1. And I know the support class right now is like the stepbrother, kind of just didn't get anything in this particular game here. But trip mines are just really bad. They're just really bad overall. They're bad for claymores. They're just bad. So I would really like to see those, being toned down. Only 1 to the support class, and then have actual like setup time. I mean, they're making animations for everything. Why not make an animation where you have to set up for the actual tripwire? Sniping feels pretty good at the moment. I like that. I think that this may be one of the games that we could see sniping coming back or coming into its own for competitive play, at least for 10v10s, especially if we do get a flare gun that has more than just 1 shot. If we see like a 3 to 4 shot for a flare gun, sniping is definitely going to be viable. Like I said, if you're using that Russian lever action, you can do some damage with that. And I can see some guys who have amazingly good aim, just throwing down the law with that sucker. So really looking forward to what the Recon class or the Scout class can do in competitive. Last but not least, and this is going to be some negative stuff that we're going to end it out here, so sorry boys, but melee system, terrible. They definitely need to rework this. Melee is just way too strong as it is right now. If you're below 80% health, they can face knife you, and it goes to an animation, and it's like, what? And the face animations anyways are pretty BS. They need to go to a 2-swipe system. It just does not need to be the way it is right now. It's way too easy. And then I think that it would help if we saw the bayonets, the bayonet charge itself, be changed to where if he's running at you and you take a couple of shots at him, it takes him out of that bayonet charge. Because I mean, it should be, to me, bayonet charge should be one of those things where you're taking a lot of risk. Yes, you get an instant kill, but you know, while you're out there running and screaming and yelling your head off, if you get hit, you should have to take the risk of getting stopped right in your tracks and dying. There's too many times where I've been in a building where a guy's opened up a door, or I've opened up a door and he's, you know, just sprinting towards it and he panic hits the melee, and it goes instantly a foot in front of me into the charge, and I insta die. And it's just not fun. It's just not fun. Alright guys, so I hope you did enjoy the video. We're going to be ending it off there. We'll be having a couple more videos coming out, so definitely stay tuned for that. And we'll see you guys next time. Take it easy.